Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, financial success always seems just out of reach? It's a struggle many families face, often rooted deep in karma or unseen curses. In moments of reflection, you may have sensed a persistent energy that holds you back. It's time to explore these spiritual blocks and uncover how they might be influencing your family's financial journey. Let's dive into these powerful curses that could be keeping families trapped in a cycle of poverty and discover ways to break those chains together. Number 1. The curse of ancestral debt. When we think about inheritance, our minds often drift to money, property, or treasured heirlooms. However, there's a less glamorous side of inheritance that many overlook: the burdens, specifically the curse of ancestral debt. Families inherit more than just wealth. They inherit the financial shadows that can linger for generations, often without even realizing it. Imagine growing up in a household where money was consistently tight, the anxiety of unpaid bills, the constant hustle to make ends meet, or perhaps the whispers of broken promises echoed through family gatherings. Such experiences are not merely personal difficulties. They're often the remnants of financial dishonesty or unfulfilled obligations left behind by ancestors. If you have ever felt like you're carrying a weight on your shoulders that isn't yours, you might just be dealing with that ancestral debt. It's where the wisdom of Buddhism comes into play. In this philosophy, the law of karma teaches us that unresolved debts, whether financial or emotional, are not simply erased with the passing of time. Instead, they remain, waiting to be balanced, often impacting the future generations who didn't even create the circumstances. The concept that we must contend with not just our own actions, but also the unresolved matters of those who came before us, can feel overwhelming. Imagine this scenario. A family member takes out a loan they can't repay, and perhaps even garnishes the goodwill of the relationship with lies to cover it up. That debt doesn't die with them. It lingers like a shadow, created from unfinished business that their children and grandchildren may inadvertently find themselves wrestling with. They could face credit issues, emotional trauma tied to financial instability, or a cycle of distrust in their own financial dealings. As we navigate through our own lives, it's crucial to remember that addressing these inherited burdens isn't merely a financial task, but also a spiritual one. Taking time to acknowledge and release these ancestral debts can create a ripple effect of healing, not just for ourselves, but for the generations that follow. Understanding this cycle empowers us to take action, to address the fears and anxieties that have been passed down. This is the essence of breaking the curse of ancestral debt and starting a new legacy. Number 2. The curse of constant complaining. Constant complaining can easily become a habit, almost like a default setting in our conversations. Think about it. How often do we hear family members venting about bills, expenses, or the challenges of making ends meet? While venting can feel like a release, it subtly reinforces a negative mindset, especially around money. This environment often cultivates more financial struggles rather than alleviating them. When we complain, we're not just discussing our situations, we are unintentionally laying the groundwork for a poverty mentality. This mindset blocks potential opportunities, casting a shadow over avenues for growth and abundance. You might not even realize it, but these constant discussions about what is lacking can become your family's narrative, a story that gets reaffirmed every time you gather around the dinner table or catch up during the holidays. Buddhist teachings emphasize that the mind is a powerful tool. What we focus on expands. If your conversations circle around scarcity, it's no surprise that you're likely to attract just that. By fixating on financial woes, you might inadvertently close yourself off to possibilities that could improve your situation. Instead, imagine redirecting those conversations to highlight successes, no matter how small. Celebrating little wins can shift the focus from what's missing to what's possible, inviting a new wave of opportunities into your life. This gentle shift in perspective not only uplifts your family dynamic, but can also lead you down a path of abundance. Embrace gratitude and positivity. They're your allies in transforming your financial reality. Number 3, the curse of jealousy and envy. Jealousy and envy, two emotions that can easily creep into our minds when we witness someone else's success or prosperity. Think about it for a moment. How often have you found yourself scrolling through social media, feeling that twinge in your stomach when you see a friend's new house or a colleague's promotion? It's a common reaction, but what if I told you that this envy could be creating energetic blockages that impede your own financial growth? When families harbor resentment towards wealth, either consciously or subconsciously, they inadvertently reject prosperity in their lives. The energy we emit is a powerful force. When we dwell in negativity, we close the door to abundance. It's like trying to fill a cup that has a hole in it. No matter how much you pour in, it just keeps leaking out. Instead of celebrating the achievements of others, consider how to change that narrative, transform envy into inspiration. From a Buddhist perspective, envy is viewed as a form of negative karma. It's not just a fleeting feeling, it's an energetic force that can keep blessings at bay. When you cling to feelings of jealousy, you're essentially building walls around your potential, pushing away the very success you desire. Imagine if, instead, you channeled that emotional energy into gratitude and celebration for others. By doing so, you open yourself to a ripple effect of positivity, inviting wealth and joy into your own life. Shifting your mindset from envy to gratitude doesn't happen overnight, but every step counts. Acknowledge your feelings, but don't let them dictate your actions. As you cultivate a mindset of appreciation, you'll find that not only does your own financial landscape begin to flourish, but your relationships become enriched as well. Number 4, the curse of broken promises and dishonesty. The curse of broken promises and dishonesty can strike at the very heart of a family's legacy, particularly when it comes to wealth. Think about it. When families acquire wealth through lies, theft, or deception, they don't just build a financial empire, they also inherit an energy, a negative one, that permeates through generations. You might know of families where ill-gotten gains become a source of shame rather than pride. Unfortunately, money gained dishonestly often isn't meant to last. It's like holding on to a mirage. It sparkles in the sunlight, but slips away the moment you reach for it. Have you ever seen someone who profited from unethical decisions? They might initially seem successful, but more often than not, these stories end in bankruptcy or loss. When wealth is anchored in deceit, it creates cycles of financial instability. This leads to a karmic rule that's as old as time. What is taken unjustly will be taken back. Imagine the burden carried by those who built their fortunes on deception. The financial struggles that follow aren't just accidents. They're often consequences of their choices, reflecting how energy has a way of coming back around. The weight of dishonesty doesn't just vanish. It festers, haunting descendants through patterns of unresolved discord and financial misfortune. So, the next time you hear of a family mired in scandal, remember that dishonesty may bring temporary gain, but ultimately sows seeds of destruction. It's essential to build wealth on a foundation of honesty and integrity, ensuring that the legacy left behind is one that can truly thrive and uplift future generations. Number 5, the curse of never giving. As we dive into our 5th point, the curse of never giving, it's essential to understand how our mindset around generosity can significantly impact our financial well-being. Picture this, a family that rarely shares, whether it's their time, resources, or even kindness. They might think they're protecting their wealth, but in reality, they're inadvertently blocking the flow of abundance into their lives. This brings us to a profound Buddhist principle. Wealth multiplies when shared. Imagine wealth as a river. When it flows freely, it nourishes everything in its path. But when it gets dammed up by greed or fear, it stagnates, becoming a breeding ground for scarcity. Numerous studies show that people who give, whether through small acts of kindness or large charitable donations, often find themselves experiencing unexpected financial blessings. It's almost as if life rewards generosity in ways we can't fully predict. Think about it from a personal perspective. Have you ever witnessed someone in your life who just seems to attract good fortune while helping others? They don't ask for anything in return. They simply give. That's the essence of positive karma at work. When we give, we create a ripple effect of goodwill that ultimately circles back, often in the form of financial opportunities, unexpected blessings, or even new connections. The universe has a remarkable way of rewarding generosity. So, reflect on your own practices. Are there ways you can start giving more, even in small doses? Remember, it doesn't always have to be monetary. It could be sharing your time, lending a hand, or simply spreading kindness. Embracing generosity can transform not only your perspective, but also your financial landscape, inviting an abundance of opportunities into your life. Number 6. The curse of ignoring spiritual cleansing. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt a weight on your shoulders, as if the air itself was thick with unspoken tension? Our homes are more than just physical structures. They are emotional and energetic reflections of our lives. Over time, they accumulate not just dust and clutter, but negative financial energy from past struggles, failed businesses, and emotional stress. This unaddressed energy can create a stagnation that leads to cycles of financial misfortune for families, trapping them in a loop that feels impossible to escape. Neglecting to perform a spiritual cleansing might leave these blockages hidden, silently influencing your fortune and well-being. Think about times when financial stress has clouded your judgment or made you hesitant to pursue opportunities. This isn't just about money. Those feelings can put a strain on relationships and overall happiness within the home. It's essential to understand that sometimes it's not about working harder. It's about clearing the path ahead of you. In many cultures, including Buddhism, spiritual cleansing rituals using tools like salt, sage, and mantras serve to lift this heavy energy. For instance, lighting a bundle of sage not only clears out stale atmospheres, but also invites in fresh possibilities and positive vibrations. The consistent repetition of mantras aligns your intentions, offering direction to efforts meant to improve your financial situation. Performing these rituals creates a reset that can invigorate your financial health as well as the emotional climate of your home. By embracing spiritual cleansing, you don't just wipe away the past. You actively participate in reshaping your family's future. Imagine opening up the doors to new opportunities, unhindered by the weight of historical burdens. A clean slate can ignite creative solutions and empower you to take steps forward. Remember, while the journey may be daunting, it's important to acknowledge the power you have to break free from these unseen chains, holding your family's financial well-being hostage. So, take that step today. Your future deserves it. Number 7. The curse of financial fear and scarcity mindset. In many households, the mere mention of money can send shivers down spines. The horror stories about instability, job loss, and unexpected expenses become ingrained in our minds. This pervasive fear of losing money can create a cycle of scarcity that unknowingly attracts more financial hardship. What often happens is that families, gripped by a scarcity mindset, make decisions driven by fear rather than opportunity. Take a moment to think about it. Have you ever found yourself hoarding savings, convinced that every dollar needs to be stashed away for a rainy day? While it's wise to have savings, an excessive focus on accumulating money can prevent us from embracing opportunities. When we're too afraid to invest in ourselves or our futures, we limit our potential for growth, whether it's for a business venture, furthering education, or even improving our well-being. We forget that taking calculated risks can lead to rewards. Reflecting on Buddhist wisdom can offer us some clarity here. It teaches us that money is energy. It thrives on circulation. Just like a river flowing freely, when we allow our resources to flow outwards, in wisely considered investments, there's a greater chance for abundance to return. Embracing this perspective means letting go of fear. It invites us to see money not as something to cling to with a tight grip, but as a tool for creating opportunities. In this light, consider how your financial fears may have shaped your actions. Are there chances you hesitated to pursue? The irony is that in clinging too tightly, we may inadvertently keep ourselves trapped in a cycle of not just scarcity, but missed opportunities for growth and prosperity. Number 8. The curse of not honoring ancestors. The curse of not honoring ancestors. In many Buddhist and Eastern traditions, the connection we share with our ancestors is not just a matter of respect. It's a fundamental part of our spiritual and financial well-being. When we fail to honor our ancestors through rituals or offerings, we may inadvertently sever those vital ties, putting ourselves at risk of losing the blessings they can provide. Consider your own life for a moment. Have you ever felt a sense of confusion or frustration when it comes to financial stability? You might be working hard, yet prosperity seems to slip through your fingers. This might be more than just a string of bad luck. It could be linked to the way you acknowledge your forebears. Many families who neglect ancestral practices report feelings of disconnect, not just in their finances, but in their overall happiness and harmony. Honoring our ancestors doesn't have to be an elaborate affair. Simple acts, whether it's lighting incense, preparing their favorite meals, or reciting prayers, can invite their blessings back into our lives. These rituals serve more than one purpose. They're not only a way to show gratitude for the sacrifices they made, but also a means to realign our lives with the energies of protection and abundance. If you've been feeling the strain of financial challenges, consider dedicating just a few moments each week to honor your ancestors. It might seem small, but you'd be surprised at how such gestures can restore balance in your life, inviting prosperity and opportunities to flow your way once more. Often, it's within these simple acts that deeper connections are formed, paving the path for both spiritual and material success. Number 9. The curse of toxic family patterns. It's often said that history repeats itself, and when it comes to finances, this can be painfully true. Many of us may have noticed patterns within our families: overspending during holidays, a cycle of addiction that leads to debt, or lack of financial planning that results in a constant struggle to make ends meet. These behaviors, often passed down through generations like an unspoken family heirloom, can feel almost impossible to break free from. Consider how a relative's poor financial choices can echo through the lives of their children and grandchildren, creating a chain of self-destructive habits. Perhaps your parents argued over money, and now you find yourself in similar disputes, although you vowed to do better. Or maybe you've inherited the inclination to lavish gifts on loved ones, mirroring a beloved grandparent's ways, even if it means exceeding your budget. Buddhism emphasizes the power of awareness in breaking these cycles. By cultivating mindfulness and engaging in meditation, we can start to recognize these deeply rooted patterns and understand their origins. It's about observing ourselves without judgment, allowing us to pinpoint when we might be mimicking past family behaviors. The breakthrough moment comes when we realize that changing our mindset doesn't just impact our own lives. It can shift the financial destiny of our entire lineage. It begins with conscious effort, setting budgets, prioritizing savings, or seeking help from financial advisors makes a significant difference. In that shift, not only do we pave the way for a healthier financial future, but we also gift subsequent generations the wisdom to build a legacy of fiscal responsibility, breaking the cycle for good. Number 10. The curse of rejecting financial wisdom. When families overlook the wealth-building principles passed down through generations, they often find themselves trapped in a cycle of financial stagnation. Picture this. You grew up hearing your parents stress the importance of saving money, investing wisely, and living within your means. But as time goes on, those lessons fade into the background, drowned out by the modern call to instant gratification. Ignoring these fundamental lessons can seem harmless at first. Yet, as decisions stack up, so do the consequences. You might feel like you're constantly struggling, always just one step behind financially. This is where the karmic lesson comes into play. Each time financial wisdom is brushed aside, families often find themselves repeating the same mistakes, living paycheck to paycheck, and wondering how they ended up in such a precarious situation. But it doesn't have to be this way. Engaging with wealth principles through mindfulness can transform your family's financial future. Visualize this: a family that sits together to learn about budgeting or investing, sharing stories and lessons learned along the way. They're not just doing this for themselves, but laying the groundwork for future generations. Each member learns the value of financial literacy, not just as a skill, but as a crucial part of their identity. By embracing these teachings, we break the cycle of poverty and ignorance, crafting a legacy of prosperity. This isn't simply a financial choice, it's a profound shift in mindset. When families prioritize financial education, they cultivate an environment of growth, resilience, and hope, ensuring that their children and grandchildren have a brighter, more financially secure future. How to break these curses? Breaking financial curses can seem daunting, but by adopting a few empowering practices, you can reclaim your financial future. One of the most transformative approaches is to practice generosity. When you give, no matter how small the gesture, it signals the universe that you're open to receiving. It's amazing how giving can remove those financial blockages and attract blessings in return. Next, honor your ancestors. Consider performing rituals to seek their guidance and protection. Many cultures have beautifully unique traditions that can connect you to your lineage and invoke their wisdom in your financial journey. Equally important is shifting your mindset. Adopting a prosperity mindset means letting go of scarcity thinking. Challenge those harmful beliefs and replace them with affirmations of abundance. Another powerful tool is utilizing Buddhist cleansing rituals. Simple practices like using salt and sage or reciting mantras can help clear negative financial energy. Finally, break toxic patterns that may have plagued your family for generations. Making conscious changes to your financial habits is crucial. By recognizing these patterns, you can rewrite your family's story and set a new course for wealth and abundance. Each small step you take is a powerful declaration of change. Embrace it. Have you noticed any financial patterns in your family? Share your story in the comments below. Your experiences can inspire others. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep these mindful principles in your journey toward financial freedom.